And here with the legal angle of the former president's troubles, former U.S. Acting Attorney General and America First legal board member, Matt Whitaker. Matt, great to have you with us. You know, again, there are two very distinct parts to what's going on here. The political angle and, of course, the legal angle, because, of course, in that indictment, there were very clear criminal acts committed by the former president, at least based to that indictment.
Well, and it's good to be with you both. I mean, obviously, the indictment is the allegation part. It's the best the government can do. It's gone through a grand jury, which has a probable cause standard. And there's just a lot left to be done. I think there's, going to be a lot of motions, a lot of legal disputes on what the law is, the interplay. You heard the president talk a little bit about the Presidential Records Act, which covers all documents of his administration. And so, that interplay with the Espionage Act, with which he's been charged under, and the National Defense Information that's described in that statute, I think is going to be very interesting, ultimately, how that winds its way through both the trial court, the 11th Circuit, and ultimately the United States Supreme Court. So there's just a lot of process and a lot of lawyering and judging before we ever get to a definitive resolution in this case.
Yeah, let's talk about the judging. Turn to the judge who's assigned the Trump case here, U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon. Now, she was appointed by Mr. Trump, and we know that she had a couple rulings that were essentially overturned. I don't know if that's the right legal term, but undone by a higher court, by the 11th Circuit, when they had been rulings that were favorable to Mr. Trump. What impact might she have on this case? Would it have anything to do with who's on the jury? Would it have to do with what evidence is admitted? Give us a feel for what her impact could be, please.
Yeah, contrary to what the left wants you to believe, Judge Cannon is a very capable judge. She did appoint a special master, as you remember, that was overturned by the 11th Circuit, and the Supreme Court didn't touch that. But at the same time, she is going to make a lot of rulings in this case, both what's admissible into the court during the trial, but also, what can be heard by the jury even before it goes to trial. So, Judge Cannon certainly is going to have a lot of influence, as these trial court judges often do, as to what the case is and what the case isn't. But she's going to have some dispositive motions on the front end, which, include this presidential records issue that I think is also going to be very interesting. This case, I agree with Mark, who said this isn't going to go to trial before the general election in 2024 if Donald Trump is the Republican nominee. I just think, the government even says this is going to be a 3-week trial, which that's a long trial. That takes a lot of preparation from both the lawyers and the client. There's no way that Donald Trump, while he runs for president, is going to be able to prepare for this trial in a meaningful way. And so I'm sure a judge is going to be very sympathetic to his requests to extend it beyond the political campaign that he currently finds himself in.
Matt, we have about 30 seconds left, but if you were one of the lawyers advising the former president at this time, what would you be telling him? What would you be advising him?
Yeah, I mean, I would be advising him that, we got to prepare to win this at trial, and we need to get all of our, witnesses, our evidence together. We need to make sure that we see and understand the government's theory of the case, and then we just start working on the reasonable doubt and not creating, but finding the reasonable doubt in this case. And I would also, in the cases that I've been participant in, it's always good to kind of moot court these and to see what arguments work and what arguments don't with, sample juries, because, I think that's one advantage defendants have in our current system.
All right, Matt Whitaker, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
All right. Thank you. Good to see you both.
Good.